First stanza. यस्य बोधोदये तावत् स्वप्नवद्भवति भ्रमः तस्मै सुखैकरूपाय नमः शान्ताय तेजसे अर्जयित्वाखिलानर्थान् भोगान् आप्नोति पुष्कलान् न हि सर्वपरित्यागमन्तरेण सुखी भवेत्। The one who is Shanta Sankalpaha only can have Sukhaika Rupata. Sukhaika Rupata is Ananda, not at all mixed with sorrow. Such person only can have. Even riches, etc., may give comforts and luxuries, that is fine, accepted, but they can't give Sukhaika Rupata, because Sankalpa Vikalpa themselves will bring all the sorrow. So therefore, Sankalpa and Vikalpas have to be given up. But how can they be given up? To give them up, first know the worthlessness of Sankalpa and Vikalpa. Once you know the worthlessness of Sankalpa Vikalpa, there is nothing that is to be given up afterward. That itself is giving up of them. Nobody will take to them afterward. So therefore this has been explained with the help of an illustration, figuratively is explained. Kartavya dukkha matanda jvala dagdhantatmanaha kutah prashama piyusha dhara sara saramrute sukham. Kartavya dukkha martanda jvala dagdhanta atmanaha prashama piyusha dhara saram rute sukham kutaha sat to be added. He explains, without sankalpa, how can anyone have sukham? That is sukha, what sukha? Sukhaika rupa. That ananda not mixed with sorrow. For which an illustration is given. Kartavya dukkha martanda jwala dagdha antaratmanaha. The one who is antaratma. Antaratma is manaha, not satyandatma. So, antaratmanaha means manasaha. The one whose mind is dagdha. Dagdha is burnt, roasted. I think instead of burnt, roasted is better. The one whose mind is roasted. By what? Jwala, the flames. Whose flame? Martanda Jwala. Martanda is Surya, sun. Jwala means the scorching heat. So therefore, the one whose mind is roasted by the scorching heat of the sun. Is it? Sun roasts or burns the mind of anyone. Brain may be roasted, that's fine. The head may get heated, and if it's a khalwata, don't ask at all. You know, is khalwata? Baldi. If the baldi is there, so don't ask at all. But the head will get heated, not the mind. The mind can't be heated. What is that? It's a relative expression. What is it? What type of martanda jwala? What is that scorching heat of the sun? Not this actual sun. Kartavya dukkha. Sorrows born of duties are compared to the scorching heat of the sun. Is it duties give sorrows? Yes or no? No. So, see, duties means a duty conscious person is very careful that he has to do. He may do, he may not do, he may not be able to do, but he has to do. Having done, result may not be guaranteed, it will be just waste in spite of that. Vegetable? Okay, let me know. You are happy on Monday or Sunday? I think if you don't work in office, never mind. That okay. A person who works, Sunday क्या है? आज ड्यूटी पर नहीं गया. They will not say office. It's Indian language. आज ड्यूटी पर नहीं गया. ऑफिस को नहीं गया. So like this. So like this. Say कर्तव्य means anguish is there. Duty means anguish is there. Will it be fulfilled? Will not be fulfilled? Will I be able to? But I have to do it. I have no option for that. If I fail in my duty, anything adverse is going to come. Always sankalpa vikalpa. This anguish is bound to be there. That is why kartavya itself, that is kartavya, gives rise to dukkha. So, and again, kartavya is born of. Don't think kartavya is born of just like that. So long as you have got kamas in terms of purusharthas, dharma, artha, kama, you have got kartavya. If you don't have, no kartavya. That's why Shastra gives a sanction to Vidisha sannyasi to get exempted from karma. What for? Because he has got vairagya and he doesn't need antakarana shuddhi, because already got it. Karmas, duties have nothing to offer to that person. So therefore, kartavya dukkha. Now this is kartavya duties with respect to anyone other than oneself. Or duties about oneself. Just say, you want those who are previously those who are duty conscious, they think of duty towards other than whatever thing duty towards having what you have what duty towards yourself also. Actually, the charging the duties towards this is doing what for it is, so that you have a mind free from guilt, etc. when you are discharging the duty towards yourself. And what is the duty towards yourself? Shravana Manana Atma Vichara. For that, if this person has not discharged duty about whatever expected, oh, I should have done it. I did not do it. That itself deprives the person of the frame that is required to, frame of mind that is required to take to Atma Vichara. That's why Shastra is first discharge your duties. But one thing, discharging the duties means not that whole lifelong hang on to all this. No? Kartavyam kritamaya bhavitavyam bhavati. I have done what is expected to be done. What is going to happen will happen. I have no control over that. Know the fact. Daivadeva all. Daivadeva is not a case of duties. It is not a fatalistic. I do what is expected to be done, but what is going to happen, I have no control. What is the point in lamenting, or that means being sorrowful, etc., on the things which I can't control at all? But what is to be done, I have already done. So that way, so kartavya means, even again, about kartavya towards oneself, certainly anguish is there. This Vedanta doesn't enter the mind at all. And we thought we got something, but this Swami is telling now this Sarva Vismarana Dhrute Ashtavakra is telling that Sarva Vismarana Dhrute, and he says this study of Shastra itself is not useful, that direct cognition is something new he has told now. I thought I got so far. So like this, anguish is bound to be there, kartavya means dukkha is bound to be there. So by this dukkha of such sorrows born of duties, that itself is compared to, now Martanda Jwala is, the scorching heat of the sun is nothing but the sorrows born of discharging the duties. So therefore, kartavya dukkha itself is figuratively described as Martanda Jwala. So that means in the case of the person whose antaratma means whose mind is roasted, burnt means roasted by the sorrow of discharging the duties, which is the sorrows born of duties, which is compared to the scorching heat of the sun. Now he says, of that mind of such person, without this, how can it have the sukha, ananda, free from sorrows? Without what? Prashama piyusha dhara saram hrute. Hrute, vina, without what? Without asara. See, dhara saram is there. Dhara plus asaram. Asaram is any heavy shower. Any heavy shower, very sharp driving. So therefore, any heavy shower is called asaram. So, without heavy shower of what? Piyusha dhara. You know what is Piyusha? Amrita. But what is local Piyusha? Huh? So in buttermilk or ghee you put sugar and have enough sugar. So that is taken that way, Piyusha. In buttermilk or especially curd, dahi, in that you put lot of sugar, that is called as Piyusha. Okay, the local Piyusha. Okay. So therefore here it is not that way, Amrita. Piyusha dhara. That means but without the heavy shower of the flow of Amrita. What Amrita it is? Shall we have? Are we to go to heaven for that? No, not that. Okay, this also again figuratively says, Prashama Piyusha. Prashama Piyusha. So what is Prashama here? So Prashama means quietening, cessation of what? It is actually Sankalpa Vikalpa Prashamamrita Dhara. Prashama here is what? Quietening. So withdrawing. So eliminating. So elimination of what? Sankalpa and Vikalpa. So that is vina, without the heavy shower of the flow of Amrita, nectar in the form of cessation or elimination of Sankalpa Vikalpa. Without that, to such a mind which is roasted in the fire of sorrows born of fire or scorching heat of the sun, that is compared to, that is actually the sorrows born of duties. Without this heavy shower, kutaha sukham kutaha sya. How can sukha, what sukha here? Sukhaika Rupa, that is Ananda without any trace of sorrow. How is it possible for this person? Means it is just not possible. It is impossible for that person. So, therefore, to get rid of this sankalpa, that vikalpa, what is required now? That means to put off this burning of this sorrow born of sankalpa vikalpa, we should have prashama piyusha dhara saram. So that heavy shower of the nectarine, the nectar in the form of cessation or elimination or quietening of sankalpa vikalpa, otherwise it is just not possible. So, this prashama, the elimination of sankalpa vikalpa, itself is the nectar which removes the poison of samsara. So that is what being now explained. So for that, what is this samsara? That is first shown, and how sankalpa vikalpa serves as if the nectar that can put off this adverse effect of samsara. How is it so? That is explained. Bhavoyam bhavana matro na kinchit paramarthataha. Nastya bhava svabhavanam bhava bhava vibhavinam. Ayam bhavaha bhavana matraha na kinchit paramarthataha. Bhava bhava vibhavinam svabhavanam abhavaha nasti. Bhava bhava vibhavinam svabhavanam abhavaha nasti. Ayam bhavaha. So this bhavaha, bhava means samsara. It is of this nature. Bhavana matraha. This samsara is bhavana matra. What is bhavana? See, bhavana word is a very confusing word because it comes in different meanings. I have seen bhavana means what is that? Meditation also I have seen. Dhyana also bhavana. Also vichar also, thought also is bhavana. Here in the sense of sankalpa vikalpa. So therefore, bhavana matra means ayam bhavaha bhavana matra means sankalpa prabhavaha matra. This samsara jagat is born of only sankalpa. It has no existence apart from sankalpa, vichara, thoughts, vrittis. So that's why in Atma Bodha it is said, Vishwam tektva swapna vicharam. That bhavana matra means swapna vichara. It's like just as a swapna is the one which is projected, so is this jagat. Vishwam, that is bhavana matraha. So, therefore it is sankalpa matra prabhava. Prabhava means born of mere sankalpa. Without sankalpa is not there. See, you can verify. In sleep, no sankalpas, no jagat. Waking or dream, jagat is there, sankalpas are there. Bhavana matra. And therefore it is nakinchit paramarthataha. In reality, it is just nothing. Paramarthata means distinct from Atma. There is no existence of bhava, that is bhava, that is samsara. So paramarthataha means atma vetiriktam kinchit na asti. So in reality, so there is nothing other than atma as jagat or samsara. Just means it is atma rupa only. Just the snake is nothing but Rope only. Without rope, there can't be existence for the snake. So also, yes, the snake has no independent existence apart from the rope. Likewise, this prapancha, this bhavaha, samsara, jagat has no existence apart from Atma, and it is only bhavana matra, only these sankalpas that are falsely projected on Atma as jagat samsara. So paramarthataha na kinchit. Now one may say that is fine. Jagat samsara is bhavana matra. But after a long time, it may become real. Now it is bhavana matra, bhavana matra. But means, and bhavana matra means just a projection or sankalpa means it is not truly that. But in course of time, because of a long period of time, it may become true, it may become satyam. Why not? You know, like that, who is that? Global? Hitler's one assistant or someone? Huh? So you repeat the bluff or the lie, what will happen? People will take it to be true. So like that, why not? Let it be. But in course of time, it may become true, real. He says no, because a given thing cannot give up its true nature. So the true nature of a given thing can never be given. This is the rule. Swaswabhavat na nivrutti. So therefore, he gives the rule now. Little bhava, swabhava, gadbad is there. Okay. Bhava, again vibhava also is there. Bhava vibhavinam swabhavanam abhavaha na asti. Actually, no, simple it is. If I give you a parallel from Gita, I will understand. Na asato vidyate bhavaha, na bhavo vidyate sataha. That's the only thing told there, nothing more than that. Only wordings are different. Let us see what are the wordings. Bhava, see, start from bhava vibhavinam. So start with bhava. Bhava is existence. Sat. So abhava is non-existence. Asat. Non-existence, asat. In the sense, false also. Vibhavinam means sthitanam. So, sitan, just first take literal meaning, I will give the meaning of the phrase. Sthitanam means those who remain as existent sat and false, which is asat, non-existence, not totally non-existent also, and also relatively non-existent. So of this means those things, sitana means judged or ascertained as existent and false. Means those things which are judged means which are of the nature of sat, ever existent one, and false, appear to be there, really not there. He says of those swabhavana, true nature. True nature of this thing means, now you take this, bhava vibhavinam swabhavana means the true nature of those things which have been ascertained or judged as existent and false. So, bhava and abhava, there of those things, swabhavaha na asti. Swabhava, no, not swabhava, abhava. Swabhavanam of the true nature, abhava, absence is not there means, in other words, these sat and asat don't give up their true nature. That's all. Abhava, absence is not there means they do not give up their, or they do not discard their true nature. What are the doubt? Prapancha may be only bhavana matra, therefore it is false, but in course of time it may turn out to be real. No true nature of anything cannot be given up. So therefore it says, bhava vibhavinam swabhavanam. the true nature of those things which have been ascertained as existent and non-existent in the sense false in nature, that abhava, absence is not there, means they never give up their true nature. So that being the case, the Jagat is always bhavana matra. It has no paramarthata existence, it has no independent existence whatsoever at all. So therefore what is established now? By giving up of bhavana means sankalpa, what you are giving up? Samsara. To give up sankalpa, vikalpa, what you need? Why is it what sankalpa, vikalpa are born of? Desires. Why desires are born? Apurnata. Lacking, I want that, and this is not with me, that is not there. So this apurnata should go. Apurnata will go in purnata. How purnata? Know yourself to be purna. Once that is there, sankalpa vikalpa go, sankalpa vikalpa go, samsara goes. What you are in reality, that only remains. So therefore, now still the doubt is, how by sankalpa upashama only, atma, that is, today I can't shout. How is it by sankalpa upashama only, by elimination of sankalpa only, that amrita in terms of atma prapti is possible? So katham atmena, by sankalpa upashama matra, by elimination of, come close, by sankalpa upashama. How by sankalpa upashama means by elimination of sankalpa, discarding the sankalpa. How can one gain the amrita, atma amrita? Atma amrita. How is it possible to gain that? So that is the doubt for which answer is given. Na duram na cha sankocha labdhamevatmanah padam. Nirvikalpam nirayasam nirvikaram niranjanam. Atmanaha padam duram na ad asti. Duram na ad asti. Nacha sankochat ad vartate. Sankochat labdham has become sankochal labdham. After sankochat, add vartate. Further, atmanaha padam labdham eva. Labdham eva. Second line as it is. Nirvikalpam, nirayasam, nirvikaram, niranjanam. Atmanaha padam. Padam means swarupam. The swarupa of Atma says, duram nasti. Is it that your swarupa is far from you? Far? Is it far? No. Then it is close, no? Is it near? If your swarupa is near, what does it mean? You are different and swarupa is different. That can't be your swarupa. So it can't be. So means it is verily your true nature. It is not far at all. So also Na sankochat vartate means it is a little strange phrase it is. Na sankocha means limitations. Sankochana, the contraction. Sankocha vikasa. So sankocha contraction. So sankochat in the sense it is not parichinnam. Na sankochat vartate means parichinnam nasti. It is not limited. Why is it not limited? Because it is paripurnatva. It is paripurna, full and complete, limitless in nature. And therefore it says, Atmanaha padam, the swarupa of Atma is labdham eva. Labdham eva means nitya labdham eva. Nitya labdham eva means nitya praptam eva. It is always available. If it is always available, how is it that I can't cognize it? Because you are deprived of that which is always available because of sankalpa. That's why. Because of sankalpa, vikalpa, you are deprived of the ever available Atma Swarupa. Therefore, what is to be done now? Get rid of sankalpa, vikalpa, then you will get the Atma Swarupa. So, first know for certain that Atma Swarupa is not something far away from you, is not something limited in nature because it is paripurna. Paripurna means, what does it mean? What is paripurna? Full and complete, what do you mean by that? Absolute, what do you mean by that? That which is everywhere, at all the time, and independent of everything. Paripurna means, full and complete means, sarvavyapi, and it is nitya, and it is swatantra, independent of everything. If that is the case, sarvavyapi, when you say paripurna, sarvavyapi, is it here? No. Sarvavyapi means all powerful must be here. It is nitya means, is it right now? Otherwise, it is sarvavyapi only at dawn and dusk. All pervasive is sarvavyapi means it is right now here. It is nitya means it is even now here. That's okay. And because it is sarvavyapi and there is nothing other than that, what is me? Me also is one and the same principle. So therefore it is paripurnatvat, it is parichinnam nasti. So therefore it says, Atmanaha padam labdham eva. It is something which is labdham. Labdham in the sense, nitya labdham, nitya praptam eva. Why nitya praptam? It is your swarupa. There is no question of not gaining that. And yet if you think that, if you find that in terms of your experience, you are not able to cognize it, the cause for that is what? Sankalpa. Get rid of the sankalpa, you can certainly discover your swarupa. The question is, what type of pada it is? Atmanaha padam means Atmanaha swarupam. So, kidrisham Atmanaha padam swarupam. If the question is, what is the nature of this Atma swarupa? That is explained in the second line. It is nirvikalpam. Nirvikalpam means vikalpatitam. The one wherein vikalpa, bhedas are not there, free from all division. Akhanda swarupam, akhandaika rasam. So akhandaika rasam, nirvikalpam, nirayasam, ayasatitam. So ayasa at what level? Physical level means action. It is free from karmas. Ayasa for karma. Karma is nothing but ayasa. So therefore, nirayasam. So free from ayasa. So get rid of this. That means that's what was told. Kartavya dukkha martanda jwala dagdha antaratma etc. For that this prashama piyusha required was told. Nirayasam. Nirvikaram, free from vikara, shad vikaras are not there in which Atma Swarupa, Brahma Swarupa. Niranjanam, that is free from mala. Niranjanam is nirmalam. What is the mala here? Upadhi. So therefore Niranjanam is upadhi mala shunyam. Now, so what is told so far? By sankalpa prashama, you can gain the Atma Jnana. But what about the Shastra says? Shastra says by, see, even the Brahma Sutra, Shastra Yonitvat. One meaning of Shastra Yonitvat Brahma Sutra is, Shastra is the means to gain the knowledge of Brahma. Vedanto nama Upanishad Pramanam. Vedanta serves as the pramana. So what Shastra says, by through Shastras only this knowledge can be gained. And what you are telling? By sankalpa prashama only one can gain the knowledge of oneself. How is it? So that doubt is now dispelled. Vyamoha matra viratau swarupadana matrataha. Vita shoka virajante niravarana drishtayaha. Niravarana drishtayaha. Vyamoha matra viratau add satyam. Swarupadana matrataha. Vita shokaha virajante. No doubt, Shastras say through Shastra only it can be gained. But what do Shastras do? Shastras eliminate the avarana, means whatever that veils you from cognition of your Swarupa is removed by Shastra. There itself what is involved? Sankalpa, prashama is involved. So Sankalpa Shastra gives you a direction from wherein you can get rid of this Sankalpa. So Niravarana Drishtayaha. That means that Bhranti Nasha is through Shastra. Bhranti Nasha itself is possible when the Sankalpa Prashama takes place. So Niravarana Drishtayaha means those whose drishti, vision, cognition, knowledge is freed from avidya rupa avarana. Avidyanavrita drishtayaha. So niravarana drishtaya means those whose drishti, the cognition or knowledge is freed from the veiling avarana of avidya. So these people Vyamoha matra viratau satyam. When the virati means elimination of Vyamoha takes place. What is that Vyamoha? Vyamoha is prapancha bhranti matra se viratau. Actually, what denies you the cognition of your Swarupa? Prapancha. What do you mean by prapancha? Again, that prapancha is bhavana matraha superimposed on whom? Atma. So therefore, because of the superimposition, when you know not your swarupa, you take the prapancha as feature of Atma. Now what you do? That superimposition you get rid of. What remains is simply Atma. To remove that superimposition, all the sankalpa, vikalpas are to be removed, projections are to be removed, Shastra helps you how to get rid of them. So therefore there is no contradiction there at all. So, Vyamoha matra viratau. Vyamoha matra viratau means Vyamoha matrasya. That is prapancha bhranti matrasya. That means the projection of prapancha, that bhranti, viratau means when it is eliminated, when this takes place. Swarupadana matrataha. So, Swarupadana matrataha means the antakarna abides in Atma Swarupa only. Actually, Shastra's job is to eliminate the ignorance and consequent projections. Afterwards, Shastra cannot objectify Atma or Brahma as like this. That's why it is said, aprameyaha. Aprameya, see, Vedanta is said to be pramana. Pramana is for what? A means of knowledge is meant to gain the knowledge of a prameya. So, but pramana objectifies the prameya. But Vedanta is said to be pramana, but Vedanta pramana cannot objectify the prameya, or cannot objectify Atma, Brahma. Atma, Brahma cannot be prameya of Vedanta pramana. Then how it is pramana? It's only pramana in the sense it removes the ignorance. See, a prameya can be object of pramana provided the prameya is jada. I hope you know what is prameya. Whatever thing that is to be known is prameya. The means of knowing is pramana, and knowledge is prama. You hear the sound, prameya. Ear is the pramana. Actual hearing is the prama. Now Atma is to be known and Vedanta is pramana. The doubt may come, it also should be object of pramana Vedanta. No. Because it being a very knowledge principle, all that you have to do is get rid of the obstruction that stops your cognition. That is what it is. All sankalpas, all sankalpa vikalpas. So therefore it says, Swarupadana matrata, Vyamoha matra viratau. When the prapancha bhranti, which is available in terms of all these sankalpas, that is discarded, then what happens? Swarupadana matrataha. The mind abides in the Swarupa Atma Vishranti matrataha. That means mind abides in the Swarupa. What happens to this person? This person becomes, this person, Drishtayaha, plural is there. Vita shokaha virajanti. Vita shokaha, being free from all sorrows of samsara, because Atma Swarupa is totally free from that. Virajanti, they shine, they appear so in the sense, they remain in their Swarupa, which is Purna Atma Swarupa. That is Swarupa, always Swabhava, that is the Swarupa, which is Purna Advitiya Atma Swarupa. They abide in that. That is how they shine. So, Shastra helps us to get rid of this sankalpa vikalpa, which deprives us the direct cognition of our true nature. Now, the secret of Atmadhyana. What is it? Samastam kalpana matramatma muktas sanatanaha. Iti vidnyaya dhiro hi kimabhyasyati balavat. Samastam kalpana matram Atma muktaha sanatanaha. इति विज्ञाय धीरः बालवत् धीरः ही बालवत् अभ्यस्यति किम समस्तम कल्पना मात्रम. समस्तम, what is समस्तम? समस्तम जगत kalpana matram. It is nothing but projection of your mind. Same thing what was told earlier. Bhavoyam bhavana matra. Stanza 4. Bhavoyam bhavana matra. Like that. Samastam kalpana matram. The entire jagat, entire prapancha is nothing but the projection of mind. Matra. What about Atma? Atma muktaha sanatanaha. The nature of Atma is muktaha. Muktaha, always free. No time Atma can be bound. At the same time, sanatanaha, chirantanaha. That is nityaha. Atma is nityaha, chirantanaha, nityaha, free from time. Iti vijnaya. So iti vijnaya means having known this. What is that knowing here? Aparokshataya anubhuya. Having the direct cognition that this is so. What is that? Atma always free with the because of its cognition it is discovered so, and nityaha, whereas entire jagat is false projection of the mind, having directly cognized so. Dhiraha hi, certainly that dhira means that jnani here. Dhira hi. Balavat abhyasyati kim. Like a child, abhyasyati kim, abhyasa here is, you can take learn, practice or exercise. Does he learn? Does he practice? Like whom? Like a child. Means what? No. Because he has discovered what the Swarupa is. So therefore, so that means abhyasiti kim, interrogation, certainly not. That means he is not going to take to any. Now again, abhyasa means taking to some means. He doesn't take to any means because the goal is this is the crux of Atma Jnana. How do you say samastam kalpana matram? Because Jiva, Brahma are one and the same. So that Aikya is there. Atma Brahmeti Nishchitya Bhava Bhavau Cha Kalpitau. Nishkamah Kim Vijanati Kim Brute Cha Karoti Kim. Atma Brahma iti nishchitya bhava bhavau cha kalpitau iti. Again nishchitya add adhisthana sakshatkara no, don't add adhisthana sakshatkara, we'll see afterwards. Nishchitya, then add tathacha. Adhisthana sakshatkara not to be added. Tathacha to be added. Nishkamaha, again add san. Kim vijanati, kim brute, kim kincha, add karyam karoti. Kimcha, add karyam karoti. Karoti is there in the stanza. Atma Brahma. Now here Atma is Tvam-pada. You, the individual, in reality Atma. Brahma, the basis of entire Jagat, the Tat-pada. Iti, so nishchitya, having ascertained. How it can be nishchitya possible? Atma is Brahma, how will you ascertain? By studying Ashtavakra Gita or Chandogya Tattvamasi, Bhashyas, all Bhashyas. Have you tasted neem leaves? What are them? How? You have ascertained that they are bitter, is it not? How? Direct cognition is that it is bitter because you have tasted. Now there that ascertainment of direct cognition that the neem leaves are bitter is because of by how? Tasting. Now here direct cognition how? The mode may differ, but what is required is direct cognition that Atma is Brahma. That is what is Adhishthana Sakshatkara Nishchitya. So, Atma Brahmeti Nishchitya. Having ascertained that Atma is Brahma, how ascertained? Adhishthana Sakshatkara. What is Sakshatkara? Direct cognition. Aparokshanubhava. Aparoksha Jnana. By the direct cognition, so by that, so Nishchitya, having ascertained, mere reasoning will not help. Mere reasoning will give you certainly what it will give you? Paroksha Jnana. It has to be so. It can't be otherwise. All the arguments you may give. But direct cognition is not there. So therefore, Nishchitya is Adhishthana Sakshatkara. Further, again what Nishchitya? When Atma Brahma is ascertained by direct cognition of the Brahma, Adhishthana, that is Brahma, what will happen to these things that are there, is not, etc.? You will know the false nature of them. Therefore he says, based on that, Bhava Bhava. Bhava Bhava means Ghatapata, etc., those things exist, and their abhava, their absence. That is what Bhava Bhava means that which is and is not. Both are what? Kalpitau iti nishchitya. So having ascertained that they are falsely projected. That means, and see, Bhava Bhava stands for entire prapancha. Entire prapancha is falsely projected. But for that, earlier Atma Brahmeti Nishchaya is indispensable. So Atma Brahmeti Nishchaya, this is what I was telling. That is seeking sound comes there. Adhishthana Sakshatkara, the direct cognition of one's true nature as Brahma itself will reveal that Bhava Bhava, which is Upalakshana for Jagat, is false in nature. They are falsely projected. Of course, here some Shravana Atma Vichara is required. So required. So, but without the Adhishthana Sakshatkara, without the direct cognition of the Atma Swarupa Brahma, that these are kalpita, falsely projected is not possible to know. So now, so also, tathacha, having known that bhava bhava, which is upalakshana for entire jagat, so what does this person do? That person develops the vairagya. So vairagya, so that being the case, he says, that is, entire kalpita, bhava bhava, the jagat is worthless. So tucham means not totally non-existent, it is worthless, having ascertained so, tathacha, so also, nishkamaha san, being the one who is free from all the desires, that person, kim vijanati, does he know or does he take anything with its specific attributes? Vijanati means vishishtataya janati. Does he ascribe any attributes to Atma Brahma? No, that means he doesn't. Kim brute, does he speak of anything means he doesn't, means in spite of action he is akarta, abhokta. Kincha karoti, kincha karyam karoti. Any activities does it take to? No, it doesn't take to. So why? Because kartrutva abhimana is not there. So jnata, vakta, etc. wrong notions also are not there. So why not there? Atma, Brahma, that he has directly discovered. Everything else is falsely projected. Therefore he says, this person, even though prarabdha vashat may do certain things, neither does anything, nor becomes a knower, nor the brute, means he is not a vakta, speaker. To become a speaker, what you have to do? Become the microphone and amplifier. You have to identify with the organ of speech or this embodiment. To become the karta, to become the jnata, again identify with the buddhi. To become the karta, identifying with the embodiment. So like this, he has no identification in spite of kurvannapi na kurvati, what Gita says. So even though doing from the vyavahara standpoint, actually being akarta, abhokta, he doesn't do anything at all. So therefore, sarvam atma, everything is atma. This knowledge eliminates all the sankalpa vikalpas. So all erroneous notions and projections are dispelled by direct cognition that I am Atma Swarupa. So therefore it tells now, Ayam sohamayam nahamiti kshina vikalpanaha. Sarvamatmeti nischitya trishni bhutasya yoginaha. Sarvam atma iti nischitya tushni bhutasya yoginaha ayam saha aham na iti vikalpanaha kshinaha bhavanti. Sarvam atma iti nischitya. So having ascertained everything is atma, and what is that ascertainment? Earlier told adhisthana sakshatkara means aparokshataya anubhuya. Nischitya is aparokshataya anubhuya, having directly cognized that sarvam atma, sarva atma swarupa has been gained. That is having the Tusht, and this person now has become who? Tushni bhutasya yoginaha. In the case of a jnani who has become tushni bhutaha. Tushni bhuta means one who has withdrawn from all the vyapara, the activities. So you can take as tushni bhuta means one who is quiet now. Nivrutta vag vyaparasya. Literally, Tushni bhuta means one who is quiet, means one who is not talking. Nivrutta vag vyaparasya, the one who has freed from, one who has withdrawn from the speaking. But that speaking is upalakshana for all the activities, not simply speaking, not speaking. So, because the Swami is telling all, don't speak, you'll shut the mouth. But here all Holkana is going on, not that way. So here, tushni bhutasya, so that means nivrutta vag vyapara means one who has withdrawn from all the activities because he has nothing to get from that. Who is that? Such a person who is a yogi. Yoginaha means jnaninaha. For this jnaninaha, so because, see, the primary yoga is Paramartha Jnana. The word yoga primarily means Paramartha Jnana. Secondarily, Ashtanga Yoga, Karma Yoga, all these are secondary. But primarily yoga means Paramartha Jnana only. Bhashyakara and Gita Bhashya makes it clear. So the first meaning or the main meaning of yoga is Atma Jnana, Brahma Jnana, Paramartha Jnana. Secondarily, it is used for means which can prepare the mind to gain this knowledge. So are this yoginaha. Here, Tikakara gives an interesting shloka given by Manu as to who that yogi is. We'll see the next time. स्वस्ति प्रजाभ्यः
Amen.